Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Sandy Bottom Homestead. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. And today we take a left turn. Yeah, we're going to talk about my pollinator garden that I'd started talking about in the fall and was planning out. And I just kind of want to give you guys a little bit of an update and how things have changed. This is the garden in question. This is what we've been working on. And I've got a biting fly biting me. Of course, it's that time of year. And we're just kind of working through it. This has been a hot mess. We've done multiple iterations of it over the years. And this year we're trying to really start to hone it in. I've got this green head fly that just keeps flying in my mouth. And next time he does, I'm gonna eat him. I'm just gonna say it out loud. So what this is this is an area that we just wanted to have as like a pollinator garden. We're not overly worried about it being super beautiful. We're not worried about really anything. We're just worried about getting some flowers in there, creating some spaces for the pollinators to live and hatch so we don't clean the leaves out of it, anything like that. We just want it to kind of, we're going to plant it and let it be as natural as possible. And we've gone, in the past, we're away from the native planting side of it and we're trying to work our way towards it. And I had set myself a budget last year of, I don't even remember what it was. I'll link to the video at the end. I believe it was 20 bucks. And so what we had going on, we had some canna lilies that were in this area here that were just kind of taking over. And then we had basically a lot of weeds, and we had this foxglove here, which surprisingly enough came back. We already had this gardenia here, which is growing very nicely this year. And we came in and we had added some plants. A company wanted me to do a review for this water pump deal. So we built a little waterfall for our bees to be able to get water, which they do enjoy from time to time. Not as much as I had anticipated, but that's okay. They're bees, they do what they want. And we already had this lavender here. In the previous years, what we had done is we had just come out, we threw some wildflower seeds down and just said, hey, if it's gonna take, it's gonna take. Well, it didn't really work well. It took with a lot of weeds. So we cleared it out, and I added some plants in it this year, and I'm just gonna kind of go through it and give you guys a little update, see what's gonna happen. And I think at this point for the year, we're gonna let it run. And then we're gonna reevaluate again in the fall. Because what I like to do for my plantings, especially like anything perennials, I like to plant them in the fall, kind of mid-fall, so that the roots can get really comfortable in the ground over winter. And we found that they really start to grow faster in the spring. And I believe it is the great state of New York does that. They do all of their plantings in the fall because everything gets settled. And then in the spring, you basically, because it's the first year it sleeps, the third year it creeps, and the third year it leaps. So they're kind of eliminating that first year sleeping portion, and it sleeps during the winter. So it's been a little bit of a trick getting this in because we have a very tight space. We don't get full sun here. We get about 2 to 3 hours of really harsh sun in the summertime, and that's been our challenge. Just start over on this side here. This is the business end of the water hose and all the water that comes back here. But we've got our gardenia, we've got our foxgloves, and then here and here we put some ice plants down last year. I know they're not native, but we really enjoy them, so we put those down. This mass right here is bee balm. And so that will take over, and to be quite honest, we're okay with that. So we just put it down. We've got yarrow here, which you can see is trying to start a bud, so that's good. And the reason why, even though, I'm gonna weed this while I'm standing right here, the squirrels are bearing nuts and it's growing. The reason why we put the yarrow here, though it's not full sun, is because it will limit the amount that it spreads. And it's been kind of creeping over the past year or so. This is actually a little bit of an older plant. We started it from seed, but it's just, it's starting to fill in now since we came in and we weeded it and we showed this area a little bit of love. It's kind of working out pretty good. I mean, you can see we have this lavender here, and the bumblebees love it. I do not see my bees on any lavender that I have, but the bumblebees absolutely love it. So we'll keep those going. Over here, these are all Shasta daisies that are growing. And I do have a couple of these lilies here. You can see them back there. They're still growing. So we need to come back and periodically pull them out. I have no clue what this is, but I'm 90% sure I planted it. So we're gonna leave it. It may be a Cosmo, it may be an Aster. I'm not sure. But then right here, this is a lantana that we started. I've got a big lantana bush up front or up next to my house that I took cuttings from last year. And so I propagated it. And this is a great way for us to start with saving money, is propagation. You know, anytime I go to somebody's house and they have a plant that I really like, I propagate it. We also have a very small hydrangea back here. It's about this big that we propagated. And so we just kind of put that back there and let it do its thing. Moving over to the side here, we put these bachelor buttons in that are starting to come up. And then here's another. There's an acorn. So we put these bachelor buttons in. Look at this, man. This is crazy. I hate squirrels. They're the bane of my existence. And you know, I need to come out here and really, even though this didn't, you know, I pulled this up, it's still going to be in there. But if you keep giving it hell, it will go away eventually. So I just make it so it's not a very good environment for it. We put some Cosmos down just because. So we've got a couple of those in. These are Rose Campion, which are growing nicely now. So we may be able to plant them very soon. And then we just filled out with these marigolds here. And the whole idea with the marigolds is to get them so that they can start to grow. They're low growing, but they really do produce a lot for the pollinators. And plus, when this door opens up, it shouldn't shave it off. Now you can see this trellis right here, and we've got Confederate jasmine growing on it, which, whatever. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's really slow. It doesn't get enough sun there. So I'm currently kind of getting feelers out for stuff that's, one, not overly invasive, and two, native. That's a climber that can handle most, like part to most shade. So I'm kind of keeping my eye out for something that I like. But you know, we did all of this by seed and propagation mostly. And then some of like the ice plants we bought on sale. So you can see that we really are budget minded when we do this. And I just wanted to give you an update on how this is going. It doesn't look like much now, but as the season progresses and things start blooming, we're hoping to see more blooms and to get it in. But when we go over there, we see pollinators in there of all sorts. And it's important to remember that when you look at pollinators, it's not just bees, it's everything. And you may not even know what you're looking at. So I don't really concern myself with like what pollinator is in here. What I concern myself with is the environment correct for it? And so here we've got water, we've got food, we've got shelter, and that's basically it, right? And I mean, we've got temperature control in the summertime because it's cooler. So we have all of the requirements met. We just need to get it so that it is blooming more and getting them so they get that nectar and stuff like that. And the idea with it being so close to the garden over there is that they can kind of jump back and forth as they need to. So this is just an update of what we've been doing. I'll link a video. I'm either gonna link the video or the playlist for that if you're interested in what we were doing. And I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly what my goals were, but basically my goals were do it as cheap as possible. And so we did that. And when we bought the seeds too, we had people chip in and I started the seeds for them and just gave them some seeds. So we were able to do that. And I also remember I took those lilies out and I sold them for $1 a plant. And somebody came by and bought like 10 plants. So that was able to up our budget a little bit more. There's a level of hustle that I believe when you want to do something like that, that's important. So we were able to kind of offset the costs a little bit with that. But as this thing grows out, I'll continue to give you updates on it because this has been something I wanted, like a wild pollinator friendly garden that was right here. And we're getting there slowly, but it's just important. One thing I'll say is once you get one plant or two plants that really seem comfortable there that can take up some space, then you start seeing the benefit across the board for this area. And that's what we did. We have the lavender, which really is happy there. It's been happy ever since I put in one sprig, and it's in this giant, and that's not even, I've cut it down by 3/4 last year. We also have that gardenia, which is just gonna add a little bit of greenery during the summer and a little bit of color in the late winter. And then the bee balm seems to be happy. If it blooms, then we'll know it's happy, but it's definitely spreading, and it's spreading fast. So we're gonna have to find a way to control it a little bit, or maybe not. I don't really care. All I know is I had a goal and I'm meeting it, and that's what's important.